This meeting was duly advertised in the Lancaster newspaper on December 1st of 2021. There were no executive sessions which were held since our last meeting. And gentlemen, we have the past meeting minutes for approval. What are your wishes?
I'll make a motion to approve Thursday, April 21st, 2022 Board of Supervisors meeting minutes. You guys have any corrections?
I don't have them. Okay, I will second that. We have a motion and a second. Any questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none. Motion carries. Okay, land planning engineer, Brett. Good evening.
Good evening. The first item on the agenda, from the Village of East Cocalico, the final subdivision of the land development plan. Issued tonight, or before you tonight, is a time extension request. The applicant is currently working on resolving PennDOT issues associated with their transportation impact study and related highway occupancy permit to gain access to South Lakewood Road. So, in light of those ongoing efforts, they have submitted a time extension. So, if there's not any further questions, I recommend read that.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So the motion would be to accept the written time extension offer as submitted by the applicant's consultant dated April 28, 2022, which will extend the deadline for action on the Village of East Cocalico subdivision land development plan until August 17th, 2022.
Did you expect anyone here tonight for that one? Okay. Okay,
I'll make that motion.
and I will second that motion.
I'll be recusing myself.
Do we have any questions? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. One recusal. Motion carries.
Next project is a stormwater management plan for a single-family dwelling located on Whitetail Drive. Lot is served by public water and sewer. This is an earth disturbance proposed to be approximately an acre and a half. We had issued a review letter March 14th. The applicant's working to respond to that, in addition to pursuing an NPDES permit from the Lancaster Conservation District and DEP. So, in light of those items and the status, they have submitted a time extension request. So, if there aren't any motions or any questions relative to the proposed motion related to the time extension, I do not expect anybody to defend this.
Okay.
The motion would be to accept the written time extension offer as submitted by the applicant's consultant dated April 28, 2022, which will extend the deadline for action on the stormwater management plan for 7 Whitetail Drive until August 16, 2022.
I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. Motion carries.
Next project is 94 Adamstown Road, also a stormwater management plan associated with single-family dwelling, located on a 10.45 acre lot. The applicant had obtained necessary zoning hearing board approval relative to the proposed access drive, and also has recently obtained the Lancaster County Conservation District acknowledgement relative to the erosion and sedimentation control plan. So, if there aren't any other questions on the project, I can read through the proposed motions. There is one minor waiver modification related to the project, and then we had issued a review letter last dated May 3rd, 2022, which would be recognized as the review associated with post-conditional approval. The legal documents, I think, have been passed along.
Yeah, Mr. Goldsmith is here.
So, legal documents relative to the improvement guarantee agreement, stormwater management plan have been finalized by the township solicitor and passed along as a, so. If there aren't any questions, I'll proceed to the motion. First motion is to authorize a waiver modification of section 185.27A(1)(a)(4) of East Cocalico Township subdivision, our stormwater management ordinance relating to conveyance pipe size, to authorize the use of a 6-inch PVC roof drain collection system in lieu of leakage.
Okay, and I will make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and second. Any comments or questions? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
Just for speed, I can move the remaining motions. The next one would be a motion to conditionally approve the Town Road stormwater management plan based on the applicant's consultant addressing the comments of the Becker Engineering LLC review letter dated May 3rd, 2022, to the satisfaction of the township. And motion to authorize the board of supervisors to sign the improvement guarantee agreement for the 94 Town Road stormwater management plan executed by the applicant, submitted to the township in the form acceptable to the township solicitor, and accompanied by financial security in an amount satisfactory to the township engineer, in the form satisfactory to the township solicitor. And motion to authorize the board of supervisors to sign the stormwater management easement agreement for the 94 Town Road stormwater management plan when executed by the applicant and submitted to the township in a form acceptable to the township solicitor. And finally, to authorize the board of supervisors to sign the plans for the 94 Town Road stormwater management plan when executed and certified by all necessary parties and submitted to the township in a form acceptable to the township solicitor. Once the township has received all the necessary information to satisfy conditions of approval, including providing required financial security.
And I will make those motions as read.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second for those four motions. Any questions, any comments? Okay, seeing none, we have a motion and a second for the four motions. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none. Those four motions carry. Is that all you have, Brett?
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, police department, Sergeant Chris Projan retiring. Chief, you wanna?
Sure. On April 28th, I received a letter addressed to East Cocalico Township Board of Supervisors. Please consider this letter as notification of my intent to retire as a police officer with East Cocalico Township Police Department. I started my career on May 18th, 1997, and will have proudly served the department and the community for 25 years. My last day of employment with the township will be May 19th, 2022. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve the department and the Cocalico community for my entire career in law enforcement. I'm fortunate to have served alongside other excellent officers as well as an outstanding support staff during my time here. I am certain the department will continue to provide excellent service to the community as it grows and moves into the future. Sincerely, Chris Projan.
I'll make the motion to accept with regret Sergeant Chris Projan's resignation from the East Cocalico Township Police Department with the last day of employment being May 19th, 2022.
And I will second that motion with regrets. The motion in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you, Chief. Okay, Planning Commission.
We have a couple changes or proposed changes to the planning commission membership. The board does have a copy of the letter of resignation from Robert Zimmerman from the East Cocalico Township Planning Commission, which is effective immediately. Mr. Zimmerman's term is scheduled to expire on December 31st of this year. So the first part of this sort of membership change would be to accept with regret the resignation of Robert Zimmerman from the East Cocalico Township Planning Commission. We'll do that first, then we'll get into the other part.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, motion carries.
Okay, the planning commission now currently has two vacancies. They did have copies of letters of interest for the vacancies, and there's a recommendation for the board of supervisors to consider taking action to appoint the following applicants to the planning commission. One was a motion to appoint Alan J. Day to fill the vacant term on the East Cocalico Planning Commission, which term shall expire on December 31st, 2022. That's the term that's just been vacated by Mr. Zimmerman. And the second one is to appoint Charles B. Shook to fill the vacant term on the East Cocalico Planning Commission, which term shall expire on December 31st, 2025.
Okay, what's the wishes of the board?
They be separate motions there, Mike.
Yeah, I would think we want to go separate.
I'll make a motion to appoint Alan J. Day to fill the vacant term on the East Cocalico Planning Commission with a term that will expire December 31st, 2022.
And I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Yes, sir.
Good evening, Steve Brubaker. So before you go ahead and do these motions and approval, what is the status? Can you answer what is the status of the litigation that's currently going on with two planning commission members against Mr. Mitchell and Mr. Bonero?
Do you want me to answer that? As far as I know, it's on, nothing is going on actively at the moment. It's pending, but I don't think that there's anything actively going on
No, it's
right now. It's sort of just sitting.
So my next question is, would it be wise to push this forward if the litigation is just sitting there and it's pending?
Well, I think that you have to do something, because you would then have two open positions on your planning commission, which would render it difficult for it to make any recommendations and take any action with down two members. So it is within the discretion of the Board of Supervisors to act to fill the position that was vacant due to resignation, and also then to determine if they're going to act to fill the vacant position on the planning commission.
So one last question. So if the decision comes back in favor of the two plaintiffs and the board goes ahead and appoints two members, what happens there?
That'll be addressed. If that should happen to be the result that comes out, that will have to be addressed, and it would be something that might require somebody having to step down if they were appointed. But that's something that will be determined in the future in the event that litigation ever results in that outcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. So motion carries. Okay.
Okay, then you have your other motion to appoint Charles B. Shook to fill the vacant term on East Cocalico Planning Commission, which term shall expire December 31st, 2025.
I will make that motion.
And I will second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries.
All right, next item is a resignation from the Transportation Impact Fee Advisory Committee. The board has a motion in front of you to accept with regret the resignation of Kerry Haas from the Transportation Impact Fee Advisory Committee. Mr. Haas was appointed earlier this year to the TIFAC. However, during the April 19th meeting, he did state during the meeting that he was resigning and had left the meeting. Mr. Haas is here in the audience tonight as well. So with that resignation and with the board accepting that, the TIFAC population numbers will be down to 8 active members. We're required to have no less than 7 and no more than 15. They did meet in April, so they do not meet again until July, the board. So you have a motion in front of you to accept with regret the resignation of Kerry Haas from the Transportation Impact Fee Advisory Committee.
I'll make that motion.
And I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, motion carries.
All right, moving along, the board has a copy of a proposal submitted from Aqueducts for a pool warden, dual body and water chemical control and application system with internet reporting, 2 Stenner pumps, and weekly testing, reporting, calibrating the pool chemicals at the pool. The estimate is number 423477, dated April 22nd, 2022. Essentially what we're looking to do is to make sure that as we transition with the pool and move forward, that we have a system in place that would meet our requirements in regard to water testing, the application of chemicals, would meet Department of Ag's requirements, and also be able to make sure that we have a system that's going to be able to lead us into the future. I did meet up at the site with the Gary Russell from Aqueducts. Alan Fry had also attended with his experience and knowledge of the pool, and Brett Hofford and Troy Young from the road department were there. We discussed the system. We got a quote. Total cost for the system is $8,750. The cost for the pumps are $395 each, 2 pumps there. And the cost of the weekly personnel from Aqueducts to test the water, confirm, and calibrate is $110. Essentially, the goal is to make sure that we are in compliance and we have someone who is certified and able to make sure that our pool chemicals meet all requirements. We do have a motion for you to consider to contract with Aqueducts to purchase and install a pool warden, full body of water chemical control and application system with internet reporting at a cost of $8,750, 2 Stenner pumps if required at a cost of $395 per pump, and weekly testing, reporting, calibrating the pool chemicals at a cost of $110 per week, as per estimate 423477. Just one last item, this dual system will operate both the main pool and the baby pool as well.
Okay, I will make that motion. Do we have a second?
Yes, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? Okay, motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, none, the motion carries.
All right, it's never too soon to think about trick or treating here in the township or in the Cocalico region. So, and if any of you are familiar with the last 3 years, trick or treat night usually brings a set of storms and about 5,000 questions as to whether trick or treat night's going to be on or not. So to try and be proactive, at the last regional elected official meeting, there was discussion for the municipalities in the Cocalico district about changing the way we designate trick or treat night in East Cocalico and in the Cocalico district to essentially make it October 31st of each year from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. as the official night. And if there is inclement weather, then it would move to November 1st from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The current policy now essentially puts it on October 31st unless that falls on a Saturday or Sunday, and then it kind of bounces either before or after to do that. So this is really a way of then saying in each community, if we have bad weather, we know it's going to be the 31st. If there's bad weather, it automatically is going to trigger over to the 1st. And hopefully it'll end a lot of questions, a lot of concerns of people who are trying to coordinate trick or treating. So there is a resolution that was prepared and it's shared with all the municipalities in the district. And this may end up going outside as well. I look at John, he's an elected official in East Petersburg. I don't know whether you saw this.
We did.
Yeah. So it looks like it's trying to get away from all of us managers texting and emailing each other on the morning saying, we're not changing it, I don't care what happens. And then 2 hours later going, oh, we gotta change it because everybody keeps calling. So this will at least give us a plan of action for when that happens. So there is a motion for the board to consider approving resolution number 2022-07, a resolution of the Board of Supervisors of East Cocalico Township, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, adopting a policy for trick-or-treat night in East Cocalico Township. And I don't know if you had to read all that or the whole.
I can read the whole resolution.
Okay.
You can make me read it.
I don't know. I like just the title. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you want to read it.
I can read it.
Okay.
Okay, resolution of the Board of Supervisors of East Cocalico Township, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, adopting a policy for trick-or-treat night in East Cocalico Township. Whereas the Board of Supervisors of East Cocalico Township, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, believe that it is desirable for trick-or-treat activities to occur on the same day and during the same times for municipalities within the Cocalico School District. And whereas in 1992, the Lancaster Intermunicipal Committee adopted a trick-or-treat policy to establish October 31 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. annually as the trick-or-treat, except when October 31 fell on Sunday or Saturday. And whereas in 2019 and 2021, weather-related issues created confusion throughout the county with respect to trick-or-treat scheduling. And whereas municipalities throughout the county had been questioned about the logic of not permitting trick-or-treat on Saturdays and Sundays, and whereas trick-or-treat is not governed by municipal law or ordinance, thus the establishment of October 31 as trick-or-treat night is a recommendation only and does not prohibit or prevent residents, organizations, and or neighborhoods from conducting trick-or-treat activities on other dates and times. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of East Cocalico Township, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, as follows. Section 1, the Board of Supervisors hereby rescinds resolution number 2000-12, which adopted the original 1992 LMIC trick-or-treat policy. Section number 2, the Board of Supervisors thereby establishes the trick-or-treat date and time as October 31 between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. if the weather is good, and November 1 between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. if there is inclement weather on October 31. Section 3, in the event any provision, section, sentence, clause, or part of this resolution shall be held to be invalid, illegal, or unconstitutional by a court of competent jurisdiction, such invalidity, illegality, or unconstitutionality shall not afford or impair the remaining provisions, sections, sentences, clauses, or parts of this resolution. It being the intent of the Board of Supervisors that the remainder of the resolution shall be and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, this resolution shall take effect and be enforced immediately. Duly adopted on this 5th of May, 2022 by the Board of Supervisors of East Cocalico Township, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, in lawful session duly assembled. It's on the record. You drink after that. Okay,
What do you think?
so we need a motion for that.
Chief smiling, so that's a good.
I just, if the call stop, it'll be fabulous.
I will make that motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, a motion or second. Any questions or comments? Yes, ma'am.
Jim Kindack, and October 31st, 2026, Halloween will fall on a Saturday, and the 1st is the Sunday. So then what do you do?
It's the 31st regardless.
So you,
No
but I
matter
thought you
what.
said that Saturday and Sunday were excluded.
No, that was the old policy, that
Oh,
doesn't
okay,
exist.
okay, I missed that, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Not
Thank
that
you.
I'm going trick or treating, I just thought, we gotta look into the future.
You're going trick or treating.
Yeah. I'll probably do things by
Okay,
then.
any other questions or comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. Motion carries. Okay, 272 Church Street Roundabout Study.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm gonna,
Oh, hold up.
you know,
Yeah,
I was like, what's he looking at me for? Which one do you want?
need the Zoom document.
This one, okay? Or the Zoom,
Well, then leave it alone, that's fine. Good evening, everybody.
good evening.
The last time I was here was in February. We discussed and went over the traffic impact study we conducted from October on. We presented two separate plans to the board. One was a preliminary roundabout design, and the other was a preliminary traffic signal design. We conducted our analysis, and we came up with both plans of what we perceived as what the required improvements would need to be at the intersection, projected the traffic out to 2041. And we went through a lot of the volume capacities, we talked about levels of service, we talked about turn lanes, queue lengths, access to the intersection, a lot of the high level type items that came out of the analysis. At the end of that meeting, we discussed, or it was agreed upon to proceed with further investigation of the roundabout scenario. I indicated at that time we were going to bring Kittleson and Associates on board as part of our team. Kittleson is, I'll say, U.S. renowned experts in roundabouts. They are PennDOT's central office consultant for reviews of all roundabouts within the state. Virtu Associates has worked with them on two recent roundabout projects, one out in Perry County and one up in North Cornwall, off Colbrook Road and Rockland Road. Both of those just opened up this past year. Andy Durr is the person that I'm working with. He is, again, kind of the guru of these. He's developed many publications, studies. He's throughout the country as an expert on roundabouts. So we feel very lucky to have Andy. I've worked with Andy over the years on many projects, and he's part of our team. So we were authorized to proceed to take the next step. The plan we presented to the board at that time was a higher level, just kind of showed what we were looking at. The plan you see up on the screen now is the refined plan that we worked through. To give you a little bit of background, and again, these guys are the gurus on roundabouts. We pulled all the oversized, overweight permits from PennDOT for the past 2 years. They maintained records for 2 years. They sent us all the information. There's quite a few permits that are pulled on a daily basis for traveling of oversized loads, overweight loads, both north and south and east and west on all the roads. What we found out was the largest permitted load that comes through as a permit was a mobile home, being 80 feet long, 16 feet wide. So that was our first step to determine what our design vehicle would be. So what you see in front of you basically is showing the type of design that it would take in order to have that type of vehicle travel through the roundabout. You can see that it's, from the last plan we have, we try to respect where the 7-Eleven is in Riviera Pizza, and we shifted the roundabout to the south. We discussed right turn bypass lanes at that time, and I explained because of the volumes, both north and south on 272 are high volumes, and we're on the threshold of having that separate right turn lane rather than having that traffic enter into the roundabout to make the turn. As you recall, the previous plan, those were pretty exaggerated. It was a much larger footprint and showed some different islands. Again, as we go through, they do the simulations with the trucks and the different types of vehicles go through here at different running speeds and getting the offsets. This basically is what we came up with. And it's a tighter configuration than we had before. It has an oblong type of inner circle within the roundabout, as you can tell. And again, that's in order to get those trucks carrying an 80-foot long load, 16 feet wide, for the path of those trucks to make the turn through there. The truck itself, the wheels, they stay on the grade. The round part of it is the apron. So again, the rear wheels of a trailer, either WB67 or any type of oversized load, is going to use that as their wheel path. So this is designed to accommodate the wheel path of the vehicle to go through the roundabout. It doesn't stay on the blacktop. It's designed such that it uses that apron. There's also some side aprons. Again, you can see the small brown areas. Again, as the truck makes a swing going from south to north, to be able to make a swing without leaving the roadway within internals. You can see on this plan here, it has the yellow, I'll say, that goes through the sidewalks, connecting Reevestown to, again, across 272, across all the approaches. Again, as we talked about before, the roundabout offers a lot of safe pedestrian movements. As you can see, when somebody's crossing the street, they're only crossing one lane at a time. And the lane width on those could be anywhere from 12 feet to 18 feet. So as they cross, they come out to a center island, they have a refuge area, they're only crossing one lane at a time. As we previously looked at the signalized plan called out for left and right turn lanes on all 4 approaches. And those turn lanes were designed or calculated to be 250 feet long. So basically, the pedestrian activity crossing the street would be almost 60 feet from curb to curb to be able to cross. So again, it's not very pedestrian friendly. This is a much safer means of crossing to all the corners. When we looked at the other original roundabout plan, there was concern again with those right turn bypass lanes and how it would impact both, again, on Riviera Pizza side, as well as 7-Eleven, as well as the driveway coming out of Redlands into the church. As you can tell, pretty much every driveway you would have access, again, to the driveways of 7-Eleven, and the lower one on the pizza shop would be right in, right out, but every driveway, every business would still have full access to make any turn to go in any direction at the intersection. For instance, at the pizza shop, if you want to go south, you would have to come out at the entrance on the Church Street. You can make a right, you go through the roundabout, you go south. The northern driveway to the pizza shop is still shown as full access, so you can technically make a left turn to go south. If you want to go east or west, the same way, you can come out, you go through the roundabout, you can make every movement. The 7-Eleven, the same way, if you're coming out of the driveway on Church and you want to go north, you can either come out the driveway on 272, do the counterclockwise rotation to continue north, or come out the driveway on Church, make a left, go through the roundabout, continue north, go south, or go east. Again, with the turn lane scenarios, we were looking at queues of 225 to 250 feet. So again, with that type of queue, when we go to PennDOT or anything, they're going to restrict those driveways to not allow left turns out or left turns in. So essentially, between the renter's driveways back to the church, 7-Eleven, pizza shop, all those driveways would end up being right turn in, right turn outs. Because PennDOT's not going to allow you to go across 3 lanes and make a left turn out. Number one, it's very unsafe. The queue in the traffic, even with the turn lanes, with the amount of green time that you would be given to arrows out there, you still would have residual queues that would block traffic to keep people from making those left turns. So again, this again shows a more compact type of footprint. It allows full access to all these driveways. It creates a safer pedestrian system to get from east to west. Again, there's sidewalk as you continue to the west. So you would have a path from Reevestown, what we're showing, to get up across through there. And again, we pulled the information. There was quite a bit of information from the permits, the types of loads that come up here. North-south were mainly length of loads, they were longer and wider. East-west were mainly weight-related permits for grain and the feeds and stuff. So that the main loads of length were north-south. So that's why that oblong type of island is situated that way to facilitate that movement. Again, as we looked at this, we took traffic out to 2041. As you can see on Church, from the roundabout as you go east, there's a wider island through there, and we end up creating the transition to create a left turn slot where people can pull there and make a left turn into the pizza shop. And then as they get to Faust, that left turn lane will allow somebody to get out of the through lane and want to make a left there to allow traffic to continue on Church. And then it transitions back into one lane. If you want to bring up the other plan, we have a plan that just basically zooms out a little bit to give you a perspective with. Well, that's,
You want that
one. That's, remember, as you recall, the signal plan. The light gray areas are what's the existing pavement, the dark blackened areas is what would be widened type of asphalt. And again, you can see the length of those turn lanes in all directions. Shifting again the intersection to the south because of the current misalignment of East and West Church. As you can tell, those driveways, as I said before, PennDOT's not going to allow those to be full access driveways. They're not going to allow you to try to turn out in between stacked few traffic to make a left turn to the north out of 7-Eleven, or even for them, if they want to come out on the Church to get into the left turn lane, it's you're 25, 30 feet from that stop bar. There's going to be no room for them to get to the queue.
So one thing that I hear quite a bit, or I read, is we'll just put a turn signal on. We don't have to do the lanes, just put a signal on the light. And can you speak to that at all?
Sure, back. And I'm trying to think of the year, was it 2017, I think, when we were first approached to look at upgrading the put advanced turns at the intersection as well as emergency preemption. And because of the current configuration of the lanes, there weren't the lanes there to put it, so you just couldn't put up an arrow. And if you did put up, you'd have to split phase the intersection east and west. And the efficiency by putting that split phase up made it worse. Queues were longer. It needs the turn lanes in all directions to make it efficient. And also, when looking at that, you got to deal with pedestrian activity. There's no pedestrian facilities out there. There's no hand-man signals out there. So PennDOT would require us to do an update. So at the end of the day, the whole intersection would have to be rebuilt, and we ended up getting to a point where the intersection will look like this. And it got to a point where it's a much larger project than putting it. You just couldn't put arrows up to do it. Again, the efficiency of the intersection dropped. The queues were much longer on the side of the street because you'd have to split phase it. You'd have to address pedestrian ADA facilities at the intersection. So at the end of the day, you're rebuilding the whole intersection. We looked at possibly phasing it, but if we would set the poles back far enough and just do some of it, well, then you're kind of band-aiding things and piecemealing it. If you got the curbing, you're doing stormwater. And if you come back to get money to do the intersection again, then you're doing another phase of work. It just didn't seem to make sense at the time. So the preemption went through. We got the intersection revised for the preemption. Preemption was installed, and actually the controller equipment out there was pretty much antiquated. You had to replace the controller and do more of an update than just put the preemption up. So I think as you recall, they had to replace the controller out there, do a lot of modifications to the cabinet. So it pretty much died in session because of the cost it would take to do it, and to do a multiple step project like that, there just didn't make sense to do it. And again, with ADA criteria, what you'd have to do out there with the current standards was a much larger project than just going out and putting arrows up.
We'll go to the next one.
Go to the
Go what?
Go to the zoomed out version if you can.
Oh, this was the three you sent me. This one? Was it the same one? Which one you want? Zoomed out or zoomed in?
I didn't send you that one. It's my fault.
Thinking of that one.
Yeah, that's the one there.
That wasn't in that email. Yeah. Was that in the packet? That was in the packet.
That was in the packet.
That was in one of your previous emails.
I'm sorry, I was trying
You want to see, I mean, I can search for it if you want to.
That's fine. It basically just zooms out to show more renders.
I'm gonna mess you up if you plug.
Yeah, watch this. I'll be down.
Don't drop my office, please.
There we go.
Oh, that's,
Easier than we thought,
yeah.
wasn't it?
I mean, that's, you know, scanning it, so it wasn't really
Yeah.
the cleanest. But again, that just kind of steps back to show Eagle Reynolds, and then it shows the driveway, it shows the church, just kind of in respect to the rest of the neighborhood there. It's the same design, just was in the original packet. So basically, that was what we've done. We brought this again, kind of gave a summary to the impact fee committee last month. Wanted to come in and talk with you guys, and basically what we're looking to do now is to get authorization to set up a stakeholder group. We want to invite trucking firms, everybody in the area that goes through here. You know, between the list of what we have in permits, and have a question and answer period. You know, present, slot the plans up, have people come in. You know, there's a lot of uncertainty I think people have, and just not sure of roundabouts, and there's opinions one way or another, and, you know, can you do this, can you do that, how does that work? And myself and Andy Garter, he'll answer every question, and he'll keep you here all hours of the night, because he just lives and breathes roundabouts, and he can talk all night about it. Sometimes I have to tell him, that's enough, I've had enough. But he can answer any question, he's been through these throughout the country. Between interstates, small bore ones, urbanized ones like this, so he's gonna be wealth of information. So what we'd like to do is have that stakeholder meeting. I think we're looking at next Thursday possibly.
Yeah, possibly next Thursday, thought maybe we do it on the fire halls. Wanted to talk with you guys first, but Reevestown Fire Hall would probably be ideal, since most people are going to come that night to talk about it. We'll ride through that intersection for a good number of them. But if we want to do that, you got to make sure you guys are available. We'll have to advertise it, make sure the room's available, and then we'll probably send out an invite to all the companies that John had mentioned. Good use of our Facebook page and our
Does that
website.
give them enough time, only a week?
Well, that
That's a
was the
lot of
question.
people.
That was the question, so.
Because I don't want to, I prefer a longer lead
Okay.
time, so it gives businesses, everyone, plenty of time to schedule, instead of it being rushed.
I wanted to come to the last meeting, I had a conflict, I thought if we would have met then, that would give us enough time, but that's.
So if we don't do this one, we meet the 19th, and then I think the 26th, there's another meeting for the conference, but that's just partial. So if you got, you have to check your schedule for the 26th.
Yeah, I'll have to check with Andy, but the 26th, that's what, because I know he was good for next week, but.
Yeah, because that'll give everyone plenty of time to get it on their calendars,
We'll make
clear
sure
a
we don't
night,
miss anyone.
and we don't miss anybody, exactly.
So if it's good with Andy, are you guys okay with us coordinating one on the 26th?
Yes. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I think time is necessary here. There's been a lot of comments, and everybody that has an interest needs time to set that up, so.
That's what I said, I want people to come with questions, answers, come with an open mind. We may agree to disagree at the end of the day, but again, just come and ask questions, provide, you know, the support and the answers we can, and I feel with Andy being there, I don't think there's a question that he hasn't heard or not got an answer. So.
John, just a quick question, just to kind of emphasize or clarify, one of the big questions that came out of the last meeting we had with the public was the length of the trucks, the oversized trucks, all of that, right? So again, just to get that data out there to the public, to everyone. So it was, what my notes were, what you just said, 2 years worth of data on the oversized permitting from PennDOT, right? So we looked at 2 years worth, which is good, because that was the big action item.
And that's all they have, that's all they provided, it was more, but that's all they
Okay.
did, keep records for 2 years.
And then what I have here was actually the largest one was an length of 80 foot and a 16-foot width, which is
That's correct.
quite large.
Mobile. Correct, all the mobile home. And again, the way these are designed such that for the width, the signage, the lighting, everything is set back to accommodate that width of the path through there.
Okay.
Everybody's questioning, well, the wheels, the wheels go off, and again, that apron on there could be two different type of aprons. The first one, there's about a 2-inch offset of curb, that's about 1% grade, and you can have a secondary apron that would actually go up to 2%. Again, 1% minimizes load shift. Again, the idea is to go through here, you're going through like 9 to 10 mile an hour, you're not coming through here at 45 mile an hour. and you're gonna have that offset to do that, and those wheels will stay on that lower apron, which is only a 1% crossover, so you're not gonna have, larger loads with beams and higher, whatever, they're not gonna rock it, it's basically a 1% crossover on those. So again, that was the information. They were able to pull a simulation of a vehicle from Wisconsin DOT. They have a truck model of it that actually shows what that looks like, and they run that through here, and when we have our meeting, we're gonna actually bring those and show those truck paths going through there, so you can actually see how, a truck can go through. A standard WB 67 will have no problem going through here. Again, the design for, Eisenhower crane comes through here, the other one, there's others that come through here, but the mobile home is the largest one that is actually permitted by PennDOT. There may be something that goes through there that's illegal that doesn't have a permit, that may be a longer load, but can imagine that happens, but again, based on from what PennDOT's telling us, what the amount of loads that they permit, that's the design vehicle that we're using.
How difficult would it be for a tractor trailer like that coming out of Reamstown, then heading southbound?
We'd have to run the simulation, but I don't believe there was any permitted
Doing that.
doing that maneuver. It was all north and south. Most of the east-west movements were overweight. I can pull together a summation of all that data. It was quite a lot of information, because we got all four legs to get in, if they're going northbound or southbound, so it's most, if it's a WB 67, a tractor trailer, not a problem. It's designed to make that maneuver. An 80-foot by 16-foot modular, they're not coming in that direction based on the information we had, so.
Thank you.
I've seen like Martin Mulch with their big tractor trailer come out of Reamstown and turn left, head southbound, so I'm just thinking how.
Actually, a WB 67, and again, when you talk a WB 67, that's what it's referenced as in ASHTO. It's a 53-foot trailer, wheels back all the way with a full sleeper cab. So that's the type of truck that we're talking about in the simulation. A true WB 67 with the wheels back has to be permitted. When the wheels are up, it's basically a 62 at that point. That's legal. So if you go out and see tractor trailers with the wheels pulled up, that's legal. When they're all the way back, technically, that should be a permanent load. Again, that has a much larger radius to turn, but in Pennsylvania, the 62, again, full sleeper cab, not small, not a cab over or something like that. It's a full sleeper with a 53-foot trailer.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, ma'am.
June came back, will there be crosswalks painted on there? For people
Yes.
to walk?
Yes, as you zoom in there, you can see the piano key style,
Really?
they're highly visible. A little bit like,
And then are you gonna put, walk, don't walk signs up?
no, there's no signalization at the roundabout. The only time that they would require signalization is if you would have a multi-lane coming through here with a right turn lane. PennDOT changed their criteria based on federal guidance that if you're crossing two lanes, you have to put up a pedestrian signal to cross those two lanes. But under a single lane design like this, there's no need for any type of signalization. You're only looking one way, traffic's only coming one way from your left. So every time you go to cross, you're looking to your left where somebody's coming.
So when somebody's traveling through this and somebody's walking, does everybody have to stop? Because it's a crosswalk.
Just like any other, you yield the right of way to a pedestrian, they have the right of way. Just like any other, supposed to have the right of way.
Are we gonna put up signs to remind people of that? For example, Denver Road at High Concrete, you're going 40 miles an hour, and then somebody pops into the crosswalk that you can't see coming because they're coming up a flight of stairs.
There are signs that go into these, the roundabouts that are the pedestrian signs similar there, fluorescent yellow, orange, yellow, green with the arrows pointing down, so it is visible that there's pedestrian crossings there. Now, they won't be out on the islands, they will be out on the outer curbs, indicating as you're approaching that there's a pedestrian crossing there. But again, high visibility of those types of crosswalks help enhance that. Again, it's state law, you can yield the right of way to somebody in there, and I know that's the law, what people do and what people don't do, but we can only design, the best we can.
And what about farm equipment? There's some pretty big vehicles that go through there.
The farm equipment, again, because like I said, based on the width of it, the wheelbase of those can fit within these lanes are, I think, 18 feet plus. in there, so the wheelbases, we worked on, one down in Manheim Township where there's a lot of Amish you go through there, and they bring horse and buggy through there and horse-drawn farm equipment through there, some of the larger equipment that comes through there. Again, it has the apron, it's wide enough to go over there, and the idea is really to keep the signs back. We did the one out in Perry County, basically, where they put sleeves in, basically, so some of the signs that are on the roundabout are on those externals. If there's a really oversized load that PennDOT wants to bring through there, they can pull those signs out of the sleeve, have the truck go through there, and then they have, spotter cars go with them, and then they put the signs back in the sleeves. So again, if there's a situation where it's a much larger load, Andy said he was doing one out in Kansas where they manufacture the blades for wind turbines, and how long those are. Same thing that they have it where they can take the signs out when these come through there and as they drive through the roundabout. And they even have it where they can drive straight over some of these with the blades. So again, there's, when you're looking at the design type vehicles and loads going through there, you modify your design to accommodate those types of situations.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
You're coming south on
I'm sorry,
270,
name, please. for
Carry
the
on.
minutes. Thank you.
you're coming south on 272 on the turnpike, which is also 222 and also 272. You have stone trucks that are coming down through there, and you have to go in and go into Reamstown and go back to the quarries. Now, all the people that are coming off the highways and going south on 222 get stopped behind a tractor trailer, and they're gonna go completely 3/4 of the way around. And if you have 30 cars behind them, who has the right of way and when?
Guess I'm not sure what your question is,
The tractor trailer coming south,
correct?
coming south on 272 between the Sunoco and the pizza place. And you're gonna go 3/4 of the way around to go to Reamstown, back to the quarry.
Sure.
And if there's 30 vehicles behind that truck, that tractor trailer, who has the right of way to go through?
Whoever is in the roundabout has the right of way.
And you're gonna wait 30 cars.
They have to wait till it's clear. That's correct. That's any situation. If it's a car or truck, they have to yield the right of way to whoever's coming from the left. They enter the roundabout and continue. They have the right of way.
What warrants a double lane roundabout over a single lane?
The volume to capacity ratio has to be above a 0.95.
No, you did a survey.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
did a survey at 15-minute intervals. I also did a survey. My numbers are totally different than yours.
And I explained that at the impact fee committee, when we did our traffic
What
counts.
warrants a double lane compared to a
Mr. Haas,
single
can you
lane?
let him answer the question, please, sir?
Getting back to the traffic counts, as I indicated, we counted traffic from 6 to 9 and from 2 to 6. And when we count cars, as I indicated, it's video out there, it counts every single car that goes through there. And we compile that down into 15-minute intervals. And when we look at the peak hour of that time frame, we take the 4 consecutive 15-minute intervals that make the highest volume. So it could be from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., from 6:15 to 7:15. So rather than break it down per minute, we group it in 15-minute intervals. That's the standard of how we look at it. So we look at that window from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock. Look at all those 15-minute intervals, and we add up whatever the most traffic is going through that intersection. So we didn't analyze and look at just 15-minute intervals. We look at a 1-hour interval. So that's what we look at. But we break it down and collate that information at 15-minute intervals to come up with the highest hour of that time period. Now, that's how we come up with the peak hour, and that's all the analysis is based on the total worst case scenario of traffic going through the intersection. And like I said, in PM peak, when we counted at highest peak, we had just barely under 2,000 cars during that peak hour going through the intersection.
Okay. Yes, sir.
How many tractor trailers went through there in your time period?
Like I indicated, I could provide you with the count data that give you the breakdown on a, every 5 minutes basically, or I can actually give you the video if you want to watch it. But our truck counts say we were up in the 17% range, so 17% of traffic going through was truck traffic in all directions. Again, we looked at crash data out there during that, and I think we talked about this last time, during the 5-year period, there were 75 angle crashes out there with 1 fatality. Again, the roundabout, nothing is perfect, nothing's gonna eliminate every crash. Again, it slows people down, it reduces the severity of the studies have shown up to 75% reduction in left turn crashes as a result of putting a roundabout in. People not running the light, if there's no arrows, not trying to advance or run the light at the end of the day. We looked at the delay, we got the 2041 conditions, the delay was about 194 seconds at the intersection. So it's roughly 3 minutes of the average delay to get through the intersection. The roundabout, the average delay is 20 seconds per vehicle. Again, traffic continuously moves through the roundabout. You don't have stop traffic as it's coming, it's yielding right away to go through. So it's, theoretically, you're continuing to move. There may be points where, again, traffic is heavy in the roundabout. You got to wait and yield, but, throughout that longer period, you're going to get traffic to move. To warrant the 2 lane type of, like I said, it's known as the volume to capacity ratio. You have a theoretical capacity, what each lane can take, what the entry lane can function in there. There's a lot of formulas that go in there. But basically, it's 0.92, so like 92% of the theoretical capacity of a single lane is where you would jump to a 2 lane. Where I believe we're at 0.9, so we're below that. PennDOT has actually increased because they're finding out as they're building these, they're studying, they go back and they do post studies on these roundabouts, so they're finding a lot more information. PennDOT is not excited about multi-lanes. I think we talked about that before. The problem with the multi-lanes is you get somebody in that second lane and a truck coming through there, a truck likes to use the entire width of it. There's a lot more side swipes, a lot more, people, get side swiped and be crushed on the side. It increases speed through it. If you come into the single lane, you have a certain deflection angle. People try to take a straight path through when it's a multi-lane, so they're weaving over lanes. So again, based on the projections of the analysis, it doesn't look like this would warrant 2 lanes. The right turn bypass lanes, we were on the cusp of meeting those, but I think we talked before, we're gonna build this thing, let's do it right. With 2041, you're on the cusp of meeting these things. It's cheaper to build it now than come back in the future. You can set curb lines back. That was done up on Hershey. I mean, they set curb lines back up there on 422. If they want to widen, they can go back and do that.
Especially with our current inflation rate.
Right. So again, now it's, let's build it, let's do it right, put everything in there. You got stormwater, you got curbing, you got sidewalk. It just makes more economic sense to build this completely.
Okay, so next steps here then is tentative date,
We're gonna do 26.
and we're all okay with that. Again, to give time, give plenty of time for people to schedule.
I think, like I said, put on your Facebook page, your website, and send an email blast out to folks or whatever.
Right, thank you. Oh, one other
Just
question.
one more question. So,
Sorry, name, please.
Steve Brubaker. I guess this is more towards aesthetics. So the infield there, that green, will something be placed in there to, again, aesthetics, but more importantly, to take away the daredevil who wants to drive through the middle?
Yeah, that becomes an issue. Again, that's the township's desire to do something there. It'll become a maintenance responsibility of the township. Again, you're not gonna have anything over 42 inches because you don't want to impede sight distance as people are looking back from there. So again, if you have low plantings, low ground cover, you don't want to put a statue up. Brent maybe in the middle or something. There's a lot of opportunity to put things in to make it aesthetic. Again, Reed's kind of an entry point. So there are things you can do. It just becomes, PennDOT's going to look back to the municipality and be a maintainer that. I mean, if you put grass in there, it's like you're going to have to maintain it to keep it, because there's going to be stormwater facilities out there that are in the right way. So it's going to be a partnership with township maintenance for some of the facilities. So again, at the end of the day, you may want to do some flower planting out there and make it, look nice. But again, it has to be low plantings, something less than 42 inches.
The truck apron, obviously it's probably gonna crack, get damaged. Is that gonna be a township, responsibility?
I'm gonna say that it's PennDOT at this point. Again, you're talking with state roads here. You're dealing with township roads. Again, PennDOT likes to push the responsibility maintenance off to everyone else besides them. Again, this is designed, you know, it's pretty thick concrete out there. It's designed to facilitate those types of loads. Again, naturally, there could be cracks in maintenance responsibilities. It'll go in as a PennDOT improvement. That's why I'm saying anything that's special out here aesthetically, like, you know, you've seen some on with that inside, they use like a stamped concrete, make it look like brick. So again, you know, certain things like that there, PennDOT doesn't want to maintain those types of features. On the splitter islands, you can do, I think down there at Clay and Lidditz, they did a stamped blacktop. I mean, you can do straight blacktop in there. So any maintenance responsibility for something outside the norm, what PennDOT typically do in their standards would come back as a maintenance responsibility. You know, curbing or something, like we're going to use pieces of granite, curbing, I mean, things like that would have to come back to the host municipality, but the standard issue type of concrete islands and that, it's going to be a PennDOT maintenance. Now lighting and stuff like that, the lighting is going to come back to the township, so you're going to put light fixtures out there, it's going to be your responsibility to take care of it. So there are bits and pieces, just like others, you know, drainage is a responsibility of the township. So again, there are certain elements of any intersection improvement that we cover out here. Even with the signal, you're the owner of the signal, you would have to maintain the signal. There are certain features that would be maintained by that. Crosswalks, that type of painting of those, that would be a township responsibility. Long line painting and other things would be go back to PennDOT. So there is a certain amount of responsibility and maintenance, but again, depending on what you put into it and what you want to see out there, what they take, how much you have to maintain. Like the main aprons and that, if you put them as concrete, that's going to be a PennDOT fixture.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thanks, John. Hey, Mike,
If you wait too long. Yeah, I'm just gonna pull up
the agreement.
the agenda, bro, it's blocked out. It logs out after a couple.
So, yeah, we're up to the temporary easement agreements.
Oh, we still have a preemptive
Oh,
traffic
sorry.
signal preemptive, if this loads up. Yeah, while this is loading, I will try that.
I didn't know if you.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Yeah, I figured I was gonna say.
At the last meeting, I'm trying to do two things at once and I'm not doing anything. The last meeting, we discussed try to gather some additional information concerning the cost to add preemption devices to all township traffic signals and into the police vehicles. So we had to gather some information. We have 7 traffic signals in the township. Currently 5 of them have preemption devices. I'm going to see if I can pull up the agenda while we're doing that. Let me talk while we're doing it. Well, you guys can talk while I do this. So we have 5 now. 2 currently that do not have that is the light at SR 272 and 897, and the one at 272 and Garden Spot Road. So did a couple, looked into a couple components. 1, I contacted John, number 2, to see what would need to be done and what would the cost would be in order for us to modify and process our permit change for those 2 intersections if we want to move in that direction. And that cost came up at roughly about $2,700 per signal. Also then contacted CM High and asked them for a cost estimate to purchase and install the preemptive material equipment for both those 2 signals. And they were estimated, the estimate we got from CM High was $12,000 per intersection. The one at 272 at Guard Spot and 272 at 897. And then I spoke with the chief, got the number of vehicles, and the approximate cost was about $200 per vehicle to equip those. That was $1,800, 9 vehicles. So we're looking at if we want to move ahead with making sure that every traffic signal in the township has the preemptive equipment, and all our vehicles with the police force are geared to be able to access those. We're looking at about $31,200 to do that. So at the last meeting, we talked about looking into it, making sure if we were going to do it, that all signals would be in that capacity. And now you have a cost, so if you guys want to discuss that, and I'll try and find the agenda again.
Again, what I said last time stands, that I will carry forward to today's meeting, which is, that is a liability issue. I think we really need to have the preemption at every single rate. And Mike, if I'm not mistaken, it's also ARPA funding
Right.
will take care of that.
Mhm.
So that will be, I'm gonna get myself in trouble, that will be the magic trees down in Washington that provide the funding.
Correct, yeah. And I did speak, I mean, obviously, the study part is pretty straightforward, and I did speak with Bernadette beforehand, the 12,000 per signal. It's not a new signal that we're putting in, we're essentially modifying and maintaining a current one. So we don't have to go out and go to bid or do anything like that with that work.
And Chief, that includes all the cars too.
It does. The only thing that I would request is that we don't put the units in the cars until all the lights are done. So there's no confusion of what's going through, all this light change, and that one doesn't. So I just like to get the lights done, get the equipment in, set it up.
After they're all up and running.
Then I would prefer that, so there's no,
Is there
it has that light up.
a time frame for, to do, so if the board moves ahead, how long does it take to usually modify permits or something?
Within 60 days, I mean, it's a relatively simple process to go through. I'll give you we revise the permit, it goes to PennDOT, they review it, we send it back, we sign my law, send it back up. Does CM High have a listing or an inventory of the branding? Do you have Tomar or do you have Opticom?
They
It's a
have,
mix.
That's a mix.
it is a mix.
What is it? Tomar is on 3, GTT.
Right, that's, since the patent ran out, Opticom GTP is the owner of that.
Because I had asked that question, they spelled that out on some that they said they had that information when they confirmed which ones had it, and I thought, well, maybe there was this Tomar means something different that we have to add to it.
They basically do the same thing, but I've always had better luck with the GTT, the Tomar. I mean, the Tomar does the same thing, they can cross-talk to each other, get Tomar, so again, it would be a preference, if you have a specific preference on one. And I guess, as per the I guess is a proprietary item that we would require that they would do the GTT emitters versus the Tomar emitter. Would that be, okay, because again, they have none now, so it's usually an 80% rule that PennDOT has. If 80% of a certain type of equipment, we can spec a proprietary. Again, that's why I asked you, how many do you think we have there?
Yeah, and they said that's what they both are, or they're all optical, so that was my question, will they all work?
Well, yeah, they're all optical,
Same
it's
thing,
two
so.
manufacturers, but if you talk to CM High, I mean, those guys who see the maintenance, they know what happens and what doesn't work out there, and they've always been big fans of the Opticom and the GTP system. I don't know why, their maintenance guys, their guys can call in the middle of the night, come out and look at something, RCV goes through and it doesn't work, why is it not working? And, it's their preference, so I like the guys that have boots on the ground, tell me what they think is good equipment or not, so. I'll just gotta write the spec, I'll let them tell me that what is good equipment based on their experience.
Okay, so what's the wish of the board?
I think it's a no-brainer, and for the safety of everyone, I think it's something we should do.
Yeah, I agree, that would make every intersection usable with that respect. Cost of these things is eye-opening.
That's been the going price for quite some time, $12 grand to do that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with moving forward.
So maybe we'll do it in 2 components. One is maybe a motion to contract with Ratu to modify the traffic signal permit, process the permit change to PennDOT for this traffic signals at SR 272 and 897 and 272 in Garden Spot Road at a cost of approximately $2,700 per traffic signal.
And I will make that motion.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions on the preemption? Yes, ma'am.
Does Jim Kinbeck, does Garden Spot, does that have that permit?
It's a joint permit.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I don't have confirmation that Ephrata is willing to split it, but we'll pursue that. I think when I spoke with the chief, the concern was we want to have all of them so they're not guessing that one isn't and then they're treating them all like they may not.
Township has them all in it, for the borough, we're doing 3 signals non-borough, they pretty much, I think, all the way down to 272. So it's continuing. Manheim Township has them, Westboro has them, so we got a pretty good straight shot of the city.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, motion carries.
Okay, and the other one you
Second one.
want to consider is a motion to contract with CM High Incorporated to install the preemption, purchase and install the preemption equipment at the traffic signal at 272 and Garden Spot Road and at 272 and 897 at a total cost of $24,000 as per the proposal dated today. Got it today, so it should be May 5th, 2022.
I'll make that motion.
I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions? Motion and second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, and that motion carries.
And John, that could be, if the timing is gone
Thanks, Brett.
at the same time, they could install this, but it doesn't get activated to the permit, or do they wait usually?
No, they get the permit first, they won't install.
So they won't do it for permit.
So, yeah. Is that Matt Langford?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll call Matt just to find out the breakdown, but,
Okay.
yeah, once.
And do we need anything, I'm not sure, Chief, what the name of the devices are that are in the cars themselves?
Well, that's,
We can,
that's what I'm
of-
saying, what brand, it would be Tomar, emitter, are they gonna put them in light bars, is that where?
They're actually gonna do that.
On the dash, yeah, I mean, there's GTD, I mean, each one makes one, but we have to decide which manufacturer you're gonna go with.
So we can take that issue up at a subsequent.
Yeah, so you need basically you need an inventory of what's,
Really, it's for CM High, because they're the ones purchasing and what the chief wants, I mean, they can decide on which manufacturer they wanna go with. On the permits, we don't put anything on there, it just shows the equipment on there, it's not based on the manufacturer.
Whatever they wish we can, because it's brand new for us, so whatever they tell us, yeah, that can, that's for the
Do you know, do you have a traffic signal maintenance agreement established with PennDOT at this point? To cover all your signals. Back in January 2021, they came out with, and you signed these forms, it's called a TE 160, when you're doing any type of modification to a signal, it's a form authorizing, you're telling PennDOT that you're gonna make these changes and maintain the signal in accordance with their requirements. Well, they went back and they standardized and actually streamlined the process to make life a little easier. Because every time you did one, you had to come in, pass a resolution, get somebody to sign it, to submit these to PennDOT. Now what they want you to do is you submit an overall for all your traffic signals. Basically, listing the same information that your maintenance folks have, it has an insurance certificate, all that, and it's signed one time. So then when we go to do subsequent changes like this, it's a modified T 160. You don't need to go through the resolution anymore. It can just be signed by the manager or chairman. So that's separate. I can get you that documentation you fill out, process that through central office. So any other project within the township, if you go to modify a signal, they're not gonna change any permits until you have that in place.
Okay.
So I can get you the forms. I have a PDF that you can fill in, or you can print out paper and do it by hand. So I'll get you that information tomorrow.
Yeah, and we'll check.
And I know Steve has it there for the township because we've done some down there. We'll have to send him a T 160 because he's a joint permittee on this, and again, he'll have to sign off on the plan just like the township will have on that parking spot, so. Have you talked to him about that work or not, or?
This year?
Yeah.
No.
Do you want me to mention, or?
Yeah, I'll reach out to them tomorrow. I wanted to make sure, because we were just talking about it last week, the board's the first to see it, so the thought was, we want to reach out, they decide not to go. with it.
the ARPA money's there, we don't wanna lose it.
Because, yeah, they have their agreements in place because with the DDI, they haven't signed. We're fixing Pleasant Valley Road now to literally those protected lefts out there, so he's on board with that.
Hold on, we had one question also. Ken,
This is a comment from Donnie Stover via Zoom. It says, tell the board thanks for upgrading lights for emergency services.
you're welcome.
Do your fire trucks have the emitters?
They do.
Are you concerned about matching the same equipment they have, or you want, doesn't matter to you?
whatever works, it's fine, so we keep it, I mean, I'm not trying to sound, this
I'm
is
just
the
thinking,
first
for
for us, so.
when you have a quantity or for repairs, or if there's something that, you know, if you have the same equipment, it just just makes it easier.
Sure.
Maybe if you can find out from the fire, what equipment they have.
Well, we're never gonna get to have the same throughout because we have it mixed now.
Oh, if it's one of two brands, so if they have Tomar, it makes sense to go with all
We'll
Tomar,
go-
that way from, if something's wrong, they have basically one technician that comes out, they can work on the fire trucks or the police cars to do it, have different manufacturers or reps,
Okay.
just trying to,
Yeah, it keeps its uniformity
exactly, right?
in the system, right? Okay, thank you, sir.
Is that all?
Good night.
John.
Okay, now that I missed that one on the agenda, now
Yep.
is the easement agreements.
Our next item is the temporary access easement agreements with a project in the Rose Hill Basin. It's called the MS4 Rose Hill Basin Retrofit Project. This was a project that the township had submitted a grant application for, I believe, last year. We did not get funded for it, but coming into this year's budget, we did budget to have this work done. Essentially, it was including installation of a new outlet structure, a 4-bay system to deal with trying to address some sediment issues, and some meadow grass planting. We budgeted $37,000, a little over $37,500 in our MS4 budget for this year. We did have, in order to move ahead with the project, the township had obtained prior access easements to be able to do this work. And as we were planning this year and trying to get this off the boat, we realized that those agreements had expired. So we had to go back out and reach out to the property owners and renew those agreements, and that's what we have here now at these two properties, one at 3 Rosemont Drive and one at 1 Rosemont Drive, which will give us access to get in to do the retrofit and the improvements to the basin itself. There's still some stages, I think, that, and Ken, I'll look to Ken, he can add into this, that we need to work out as to what work maybe we will be doing, what work we being the township, what work maybe we will contract out to do. That really doesn't impact what we're doing now. Really the impact now is just to make sure we get our temporary access easement agreements approved and updated so that we can move ahead with the project. Did you want to add anything, Ken, to what's proposed there or anything like that?
Our goal is to actually have the physical work on the project completed this year. The question is how much of it we're gonna do, how much of it we want to go to an outside contractor for, and how much of the services are gonna go to Land Studies, who did the design of the project for us. So there's some decisions that need to be made on that, and we need hopefully in the near future to get that stuff resolved.
So what you have for the board is primarily administrative for us here. There's two motions. One, the motion to authorize the Board of Supervisors to execute the temporary access easement agreement between James M. McCully Jr., 3 Rosemont Drive, Denver, PA, 17517, and East Cocalico Township to complete the Rose Hill Basin MS4 retrofit project.
I will make that motion.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none. With the motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and the motion carries.
Okay, the next one is a similar motion, just different property. Motion to authorize the Board of Supervisors to execute the temporary access easement agreement between Brenda S. Stark, 1 Rosemont Drive, Denver, PA, 17517, and East Cocalico Township to complete the Rose Hill Basin MS4 retrofit project.
I'll make that motion.
And I will second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? So motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none, motion carries.
The FS4 grant award agreement, almost a little bit of deja vu, right? We did this at the last meeting, but it's a matter of just kind of, again, confirming and making sure that we have all the, with one of our grant recipients, that we have the final list of farms that are going to be included in our program. On April 21st, the board took action to modify the original FS4 agreement between the township and Warren and Christine Hoover to reflect a set of 3 parcels to be enrolled in our program. You recall that was 127 acres. We developed that agreement. and sent it out that we received a request from the Hoovers to replace one of those 60-acre tracts with a different tract located across from their home farm totaling 58 acres. So it doesn't seem to be any issues. It fits within our format in our district. What we have to do is just a matter of finalizing this agreement to reflect the 3 actual parcels that'll be included in. The initial one, as I mentioned, or the last one was 127 acres, and that was a grant award of $19,050. This will be 125 acres, and will be a grant award of $18,750. So 2 less acres, and that difference in price is reflected in the grant award. So if you recall, we had a very long motion that we passed last time, and we're going to do it again. If you're inclined, it's a motion to revise the Farmers Saving Soil Stopping Sediment Grant Award Agreement between East Cocalico Township and Warren E. and Christine E. Hoover, 171 Stevens Road, Stevens, PA, 17578, totaling 127.0 acres for conservation tillage with a 30 to 59% residue on parcels 080-15372, 080-44592, and 080-88668 for a total grant award of $19,050, which was approved during the April 21st, 2022 Board of Supervisors meeting, and to approve the Farmers Saving Soil Stopping Sediment Grant Award Agreement between East Cocalico Township and Warren E. and Christine Hoover, 171 Stevens Road, Stevens, PA, 17578, totaling 125 acres for conservation tillage with the 30 to 59% residue on parcels 080-15372, 080-44592, and 080-70548 for a total grant award of $18,750, and to authorize the township manager to execute the required grant agreement award on behalf of East Cocalico Township. So again, we're changing one of those parcels, and it results in a reduction of about 2 acres, and the grant award drops from $19,050 to $18,750. And hopefully this will be our final grant agreement with this property.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second, and all in favor? Aye. Opposed, none, and the motion carries.
All right, and the only item I have on mine
You're
is,
on a roll, sir.
I know, just keep going, is a follow-up, and we had talked at the last meeting concerning a draft ordinance being developed for the truck issue at Wabash Road, both between Line Road and 272 and between 272 and Reevestown Road, as well as combining that with some current places we want to add onto our ordinance that prohibits stopping, standing, and parking at all times. South Muddy Creek Road, both sides, from Stonehill Road to the township boundary line, and Trost Road from both sides from South Muddy Creek Road to Colonel Howard Boulevard. So at the meeting, we had discussed that we were going to finalize this ordinance. Bernadette had submitted the ordinance, drafted it, submitted it to me. You guys have it in your packet for review. And ultimately, we'd like to have a motion from the board to move ahead and have this ordinance advertised so we can take official action and then take down the current signs that are there and make the modifications as per the ordinance. One question I have, if the board approves that tonight, do we have enough time advertising wise for the May 19th, or will that push us to the June meeting?
You should be able to get to May 19th.
Okay.
Because it only has to be advertised once.
Right, okay. So we've discussed it in the past, but you have a draft now. Just wanted to make sure you got a chance to see the draft, if you had any questions or any modifications, and then they give us the authorization to go ahead and advertise, and then we will have that on for that next available
Question, just to clarify, do we do your advertising in LNP? Is that what we do?
I think we've gone different places. We've done effort of review, we've done LNP.
Yeah, we've always done LNP.
Okay, we should be able to get into it.
Yeah, LNP is daily, so you have to review weekly, that's a little bit.
That's why I wanted to make sure, yeah. Doing it in LNP it's different days of the week for what edition they're gonna be in. If we get it in early next week, it just has to be in by like May 11th.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, that's next week.
That's, yeah.
Maybe June will be better, just to be on the safe side, in case there's any snack. Let me just look at the calendar. Oh, did we pass the RDO? Can they approve it for May 19th if I can get the ad in on time, and if not?
Yeah, are you guys comfortable with that? We will,
If I can get in Monday morning, we should be okay.
Sounds good. To hear from me, right?
Okay.
Gentlemen, are you guys okay if she gets it in for next week?
what did I do?
In the
Yeah.
paper?
Yeah, I'm okay with that, yeah.
Authorize advertising of the proposed ordinance with truck traffic issues to be considered at the May 19th meeting.
Because then we can still meet the advertising.
That's why I'm thinking if we get it in by Monday morning, it should be in by Wednesday, which is the 11th, which is plenty, it just has to be 7 days in advance. So that should be good for the May 19th meeting. And I'll see that that gets done either tomorrow or Monday morning.
Is you okay with that?
Sure.
Do you need a motion for that, or is consent is good?
You should just put a motion, yeah, because you're basically setting a hearing on it. You have to have a hearing
Okay.
on the adoption of the ordinance, so you should do it by motion.
Okay, so I will make a motion that for the draft truck and parking restriction ordinance, to hold a public hearing on that on
May 19th,
May
is
19th.
that your next meeting? Yes.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, none, and that motion carries. So that'll be on the 19th.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Mike.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, Chief, Police Department.
So, I only have a few things, this is not my normal report week, but, I just wanted to keep you updated. For the 2022 budget, excuse me, we have budgeted $8,000 for new shotguns for the vehicles. Because we have implemented new handguns, I asked Corporal Walsh if he would get a quote from Whitmer Public Safety, the officer store, for these shotguns. And he came back, and after I get my jaw up off the floor with the trade-in of the old shotguns, the cost for 9 new Benelli Nova tactical shotguns will be, this is with the trade, $2,700.96. Or I'm sorry, let me rephrase it. $2,796, sorry. The prices blew my mind, that's why I can't even say it, it's so low, so much lower. I signed the quote, they will be delivered sometime in the near future, I'm hoping. So,
Great.
and the only other thing I have is, I would.
Quick question, sorry. You don't have to change any mounting hardware or anything in the
No,
cars?
no, not with the things we have in the cars now. They will be able to use these same things. And I would ask for a motion to offer a conditional offer of employment to Joseph Doherty, resides in the Drexel Hill area of Pennsylvania. He's currently in the Delaware County Community College Police Academy. So I would ask that that conditional offer of employment be after completion of the polygraph, the academy, and a psychological, which is all standard things, and with a start date sometime after June 16th, 2022.
I will make that motion.
second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any questions for the chief on that one?
Is he related to the,
I'm sorry, name
Adam
please.
McElwain, is he happy to relate to, the reading leader down in the intellectual unit leader?
I have no idea who his relatives are.
Do you know who the union leader is?
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, none. Motion carries.
If I could, let me rephrase that. The relatives we're aware of through the background process, the application process, that name is not come up. If I could say it that way.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Anything else, chief?
No, that's it, that's all.
Okay, any other questions for the chief? Okay, thank you. Okay, community development, Sharon.
Okay. I did give you a couple of documents. The first item is a resolution, basically one-page resolution. This is for the Black Horse Warehouse project. They have applied for and I guess tentatively received $6 million in grant money from the State Budget Office's Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program, which they refer to as RCAP. The grant money will be for there's two pieces to it. One is demolition and on all kinds of permits and approvals and that sort of thing. And the other is toward construction, $3 million ones. The other part goes to the construction of the building itself for a total of $6 million. This program requires, because of the type of funding it is, it has to go through a public entity. So they have asked us to be the public entity that is actually the applicant for the grant. This is a preliminary award. You may have seen some things in the media about it. I think Ryan Ahmet back when, had announced this a few months ago. But they still have to go through an extensive application process, which they've hired a consultant to do. They have to provide all kinds of documentation and so forth. It takes several months. So this would be sort of the first piece of them starting that process. If, the township agrees to do that, there's no cost to the township. Their consultant handles the entire grant process. There's no obligation on the township for any monetary or other resources. It's just using us as the public entity that they need to use as the grant applicant. So
we're the pass-through for the grant.
pretty
That's
much,
really
yes, that's right.
Yeah.
We're the applicant, right? We don't get any money for doing that either. We tried.
Yeah.
Well, we get the benefit of the development and the taxes from the development.
Right, and of course the whole road realignment project. So you have in your packet the ordinance, the resolution that you would, that they are looking for. It's, like I said, it's very simple. The whole thing can be read. As well as a copy of the application that they submitted to the budget office when, that they got the money for. So you don't have to enact the resolution tonight if you're not comfortable with that, but they have to get this in by the end of May. So we wanted to introduce it to you tonight in case you wanted some time to get more information about it. You could take action on it at our next meeting. However, if you want to, of course, you can have the resolution. I have a motion here if you want to go ahead and do that.
The liability on those funds and everything, that remains with them,
Correct.
the way these are written,
Yes.
if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So really, the liability for the municipality really is none, we're just the pass-through
Correct.
for that application process.
Right, at some point, one of the requirements is for the township solicitor, are you familiar with this process?
Just tell me what it is.
I'm trying to think of the terminology here, what they call it, I don't have my notes in front of me. It's called opinion of counsel.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
That would be involved, and they would pay for,
Yes.
Their portion.
for your
Yes.
costs to do that.
Mhm.
Okay. So those would be the only two things that would be required. They do, like I said, they do have a consultant that they hire to shepherd this grant through the process. It does seem to be very expensive, and it does take place over a period of months.
Move that to the next one, or?
I guess I just had a question, maybe for Bernadette, if you're familiar with this kind of setup, if you've seen how it's worked out. Is there any downside here to the municipality?
Not really.
Something whatsoever.
You are like basically a pass-through. It's these, I haven't done this particular program, but I've done other ones with some of our municipalities. And essentially you become the conduit that the money goes through, just because they're going through a governmental entity. It's of benefit on both ends.
Yeah, it has to go through some public entity, whether it's an industrial development authority
Or some such thing, yeah.
Yeah, so they've asked us to be the conduit.
Yeah, there's no liability on our end.
Okay.
There is no negotiation, though, should be the one.
No, it's a grant.
Yeah, I would, under
There's no
those,
liability, then.
No.
under that solicitor's recommendation there, I would be ready to move forward.
Yeah, I don't want to delay this. I would definitely, I would make that motion.
Okay,
You want to go ahead and do?
do you want me to read it?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so bearing in mind that we did not put in a resolution, I'm sorry, this doesn't help you, does it? Okay, so the motion is to authorize the Board of Supervisors to enact resolution number, to be filled in, a resolution of the Board of Supervisors authorizing the submission of an application for funding to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for the Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program, RCAP, grant in the amount of $6 million for the purpose of demolition and site work relating to the Black Horse Distribution Center project, and further authorizing the chairman of the Board of Supervisors to execute all documents between East Cocalico Township and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and certain other documents as required.
And you made the motion, Jeff?
No, I didn't,
Oh, sorry. I will make the motion.
and I'll second it.
Okay, sorry. So we have a motion and a second. Any questions at all? Any comments? Okay, so we have a motion and a second. The only thing missing there, Mike, is we do need to fill in the resolution number.
Yep, that would be 2022, we did 07 earlier, right?
That was that the last one?
Or would we?
Trick or treat was, trick or treat was 07?
Yeah, so this would be 08.
This would be 08.
Then we already have another one?
So we're following a trick or treat resolution with a resolution for $6 million that I have to sign.
You never know
No,
what
we
you
just
get.
set that up
from the
for
township
here.
meeting.
We didn't, and that's an ordinance and not a resolution.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, motion carries.
Okay, the next item I have is a request from True Denver to replace their existing $25,000 letter of credit with cash security in that same amount. They still have some site improvements. I believe it's mostly some stormwater facilities that they need to take care of to close out the project, and they'd like to close out their letter of credit. They would need to pass, post the cash with us before they would get the letter of credit released.
Good.
So if you're so inclined, the motion would be to approve True Denver's request to replace the existing $25,000 letter of credit with cash in the same amount to secure remaining site improvements at their development site.
Yeah, I will go ahead and make that motion.
I'll second
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions, any comments? Seeing none. Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, none, and the motion carries.
And then the last item is the agenda for the zoning hearing board meeting next Wednesday, May 11. There are 2 applications. One is, do you want me to read this for you? It's just an information item,
No,
but
yeah,
probably
just
should.
summarize it.
Okay. The first is for approval of a special exception to permit eco housing, basically an in-law quarters at 1 Sharp Avenue. This would be an addition onto the existing residence. The other application is for another special exception to permit a short-term rental in the 2nd floor residence of the property at 1647 North Reading Road. So. Okay.
Okay, any other questions for Sharon? Okay, great, thank you. Okay, MS4, Ken.
Yes, what I've been up to, I've been, just started planting some replacement shrubs out in the riparian buffer. There are a number of them that were damaged over the course of the winter, probably by voles chewing them off. Some of the plants were quite small, so those are being replaced now. I've been preparing for the EMP inspections. EMPs are best management practices, and include things like stormwater basins and rain gardens, and the other types of facilities that we have. And each year we do 1/4 of them, and it's the area 4, which is north of the turnpike and west of 272. And there are approximately 106 PMPs in this section, but a lot of them are on multiple items on the same property, so it's not that many properties. I don't have the exact count yet on how many properties it is. Final thing we're working on the revision of our stormwater ordinance to meet the requirements that DEP set out for 2022 stormwater ordinance. And so there are additions, changes that we need to put into our ordinance that are required by the MS4 program. And so we've been working on that. Sharon's been working on it, Brett Lee, myself. And that's an ongoing process. It's a fairly long and complicated.
The devil's in the details. And that does have to be sent in to DEP by September of this year. That's the deadline for us to enact it.
That's all I have to report tonight.
Thank you. Any questions for Ken? Okay, thanks, Ken. All right, treasurer's report.
Treasurer's report, okay. On the list of bills, we have check payments from the general fund account for $11,587.68 for a starting date of April 22nd to May 4th. So any questions on those bills as presented? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, motion carries.
Okay, and the second proposal we have is to approve the electronic payment list of bills in the amount of $97,263.02. And that is for a pay period of April 10th to April 23rd. And I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none, motion carries.
And the third one is to approve a check payments for the general fund bank account list of bills in the amount of $24,195.30, and these will be dated May 5th of 2022. Is there any questions on them as presented? Seeing none, I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none, and the motion carries.
And that's the treasurer's report for tonight.
Thank you. Okay, new business. Anything? Jeff? No? Okay, I do have one thing that we need to discuss or we need to think about. With the passing of Barry Weaver. Barry Weaver was the vacancy board member who would, let me try to explain this. Vacancy board member is when there is a, heaven forbid, a fatality on the board, a resignation. If two of the supervisors can't agree as to who to appoint as the vacancy board, as the vacancy individual to fill out the term, to complete the term, the vacancy board member, which was Barry Weaver prior to his passing, that vacancy board member steps in and they become basically a tiebreaker. So they try to get coordination, cooperation in terms of getting that vacancy board filled. So I have a couple of phone calls out to the CARC, the Cocalico Area Republican Committee, to see if they have any suggestions that they can make for us. So Mike, we just need to keep that on the radar there.
Okay.
But that is a position that we do need to appoint someone there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was kind of shocking news, I guess, to me when I had heard about Barry's passing. I spent numerous days or evenings with him just talking about East Cocalico and East Cocalico politics. And, he was a true servant to the community. And, I know he'll be missed in a lot of places. He put in many, many years and worth of time and service, and I'm sorry to hear of his passing. He was one of a kind that way. So we'll have some big shoes to fill yet. So.
Is there a question?
I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Randy Schober, and I'm actually a member of the Cocalico Area Republican Committee. And this actually came up after Barry's untimely passing, and that the East Cocalico members of the committee got together a few weeks ago, and we were actually going to maybe present Steve Brubaker as a possible candidate for that position. He's very well versed in the township politics, and he's would be a great addition. Yeah, he's also a member of the planning commission. So if, as you can continue to talk about that as township, we would appreciate if we could keep his name in mind.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Randy. Okay, public comments for non-agenda items. Again, it helps Lisa with the meeting minutes. Please state your names. Any comments, questions? Yes, sir.
So my name is Edward Macalanis, and I have a couple questions to ask as it relates to executive board meetings. When you guys go into an executive board meeting, are those meetings discussed in private? And are those the information that is discussed within that meeting not to be disclosed or to be given to the public? I'm directing that question to you.
Executive session meetings.
When you have an executive session amongst you three.
I heard you clearly, thank you. Executive session meetings are held. I believe there are 5 items for an executive session.
Correct.
One of them involves personnel. One of them involves the potential for litigation or active current litigation. The third one involves contractual. I'm sorry, the fourth one, contractual. And the fifth, if I remember correctly, involves the sale transaction negotiations of real estate.
You didn't answer the next part, the latter part. Are those details of the conversation to be held in private, or are they to be discussed among people outside of the room?
They're held within the members, and the understanding is that those items are to be private in nature. And if they're legal, the individuals revealing the information or whatever is discussed, that could come out during depositions, interrogatories.
Depositions in regards to what?
Depositions,
In regards to what?
legal matters.
Right.
When you're going through the legal process in a lawsuit,
So you're talking about like depositions where they.
when you're under oath.
Right.
Right, when we're under oath. So if something were to occur where we're under oath,
Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely. So recently there had been a posting, I'm sure many people have seen it within the East Cocalico website. And what I find really interesting is this particular individual had stated that she is aware of informations that name 2 of the board members, Lorenzo and Jeff, but they don't name you. And I would find it really interesting, unless it was under deposition, which it could have been, I don't know. I don't know what happens behind closed doors, in the case that you brought up and just said. But I doubt that the information that is held behind closed doors, a fool would be to release that information to incriminate himself. So what I'm saying is, if this person is speaking freely on this website, say that they know of information, how would they know information?
what website are you referring to?
You're not familiar with what's going on?
What website?
The East Cocalico website? You're not familiar with what's going on?
You mean the Facebook pages?
There's individuals that are on that page that they say that they know information and that Jeff and Lorenzo are hiding behind a lawyer. And that they know of information.
I am not on Facebook for this very reason.
Me neither.
For this very reason. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're inferring.
But what you're saying is that, again, the information that's being discussed within the executive session is supposed to remain in the executive session. Unless in this disposition where you're in front of a lawyer, or in front of a judge, or in litigation,
Or
where
some,
this information comes out.
no, or frankly, somebody could go and release that information, but whatever the legal consequences of that would be is on them.
Gotcha.
Slightly further clarification, the subject matter that is discussed in an executive session is announced. The specific details of the discussion are not.
Exactly.
So after an executive session is held, next meeting, the chair would say, we held an executive session after our last meeting, to discuss potential litigation, to discuss personnel, whatever. That's what is required to be disclosed. The specific details of that conversation are not.
Exactly, I understand.
And one of those matters Mr. McAnally, in one of those matters, it's a civil case.
Sure.
It's filed with the Fraternal Attorney's Office.
I understand. Very well, very.
It's a public document. Now, not the discussions we're having about those, but whatever's going on there, you see in the public document.
Yeah, but it was weird though, because this individual had specifically said something about a DA.
I can't comment on what people say or don't say, or what they think they said, or what you think you read. I don't know.
I just find it interesting, so.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. All right, so our next supervisors meeting is going to be on Thursday, May 19th at 7 PM. It'll be in person and via Zoom live at East Cocalico Township, here in our building. We have no executive sessions for tonight. We do?
Yes.
Oh, we do? Yeah. Who's requesting me?
I'll question.
You gotta save it for now.
And I'll second.
You're looking to further discuss personnel with the manager position?
Okay. Related to manager
Right.
position. Got it. Okay, so, excuse me, correction. There is an executive session tonight, and that will be to discuss personnel matters related to the manager's position. We don't anticipate any decisions. Jeff?
No.
Okay, so what we could do is we could close out, because we're not coming back with any decisions at all, it's just a discussion. What we could do is adjourn the meeting.
Unless you wanna hang out.
So,
If you guys wanna hang out.
Well, we're not coming back.
we're not-
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
We can't do that.